Gospels. Right. So rabbinic literature knows about Shammai and Hillel, but in terms of when it's put together, it's not put together by people who knew Shammai and Hillel. But it records earlier sources, presumably. Okay.
Do we have any first or second century Judaic sources that are?
Okay. So the answer is nothing that was redacted then or edited then or whatever fancy word scholars like to use. But we do have in our sources that are put together later. They do preserve sources from that period, and that I think is fair to say.
I mean, Shammai and Hillel are what? They're not Persian.
They're not identified as Persian.
They're contemporaneous with?
It's possible that, by the way, that Shammai and Hillel are mentioned by Josephus. We don't know, but there are names that he mentions of famous Pharisees.
You think they lived when?
So they presumably lived at the end of the period of the bias, maybe like the turn of the millennium around, I'd say. Okay, it's hard to know for sure, but that's probably around when. Oh, the turn of the era.
So we identify them as Persian or not?
So Chazal, which is our only secure source for Shammai and Hillel, don't ever call them Pharisees. Which, make of that what you will. They may have been Pharisees, but Chazal don't call them that.
Does anyone call like Rabbi Akiva a Pharisee? Or
no, Chazal never identify a rabbi as a Pharisee, which is interesting.
But the rabbis don't start until around this time, right? The name rabbi doesn't come into being until the beginning of the millennium,
right. So as Chazal say, Golda Merab and Shemo, right? It's more important to have to be a scholar than to have the title scholar. But you're right. Our earliest evidence for people who call themselves rabbis are still from the time of the bias, Rabbi Gamliel, for example. But you're right. It's relatively late in the history of sort of rabbinic history. Okay, so yeah.
Were there